Hello, and welcome to the Greek of the Week. So this week in my podcast, I'm in Hebrews 6, and the Greek of some of the verses here is just really beautiful Greek to me. It's not very English, which is part of what makes it fun to me. And so I got carried away and thought we'd do three verses, 17, 18, and 19 today. So let's dive right in. En ho perisoteron volumenos hotheos. Okay, in that or in which, much more wanting God or God wanting. All right, so a first or second declension ending without a word there, with a rough breathing mark like ho. Ho is a dative masculine or neuter singular kind of ending with the subscript there, hanging on for dear life, the Yoda subscript saying, I'm dative, I'm dative. So this is dative, masculine or neuter singular. See the rough breathing mark? En ho. So in which, the relative pronoun, which, who, that. In that, much more, perisoteron. See the er, like in English, a teron is a comparative ending. So not just more, not just much, but much more. Sometimes it's translated exceedingly or something along those lines. So we have that. And then volumenos, men are passive participles or middlemen, as a friend of mine says. But it's boulomai, oh my, it's deponent. So even though it has a middle or passive ending, we're going to translate it actively. We're going to translate it as wanting, not being wanted, but wanting. Boulomai, present stem, nothing done to it. So we have a present, middle deponent participle, nominative masculine singular, os, nominative masculine singular. God is the subject, he's nominative here. And so we're going to probably in English say, in which God, even more wanting, epideixai, tois, kleronomois. God, hotheos, epideixai, tois, kleronomois. God wanting to show. God wanting to show. Epideixai, 6 of the 7 infinitive endings are I. So this is an infinitive. There are other I's, other meanings to I, but this one is an infinitive. C is the key to a hidden sigma. So we have a hidden sigma alpha. It's aorist. So this is an aorist active infinitive from epideichnoumi. And I'm sorry that it's epideichnoumi. Who knew? I have so much shoved up in this head with Greek. You just have to memorize it. You might have thought it was epideichno or epidegno or something like that. And there may actually be an alternative form of the verb, but epideichnoumi, it's a weird me verb. But I could parse it fine without knowing that. You just have to memorize a bunch of stuff when you're learning another language, because languages don't, very few, languages aren't invented by a committee sitting down and saying, let's systematize this thing. They're sloppy, and you just have to memorize a bunch of weird anomalies or strange things. So God wanting to show to the heirs, dative masculine plural. What did he want to show to the heirs? Well, first of all, they were the heirs tes epangelios. He wanted to show to the heirs of the promise something. What did he want to show them? He wanted to show them to ametathaton, the unchangeableness. There's a good philosophical word. Of course, there are a number of scholars over the years who pointed out that Hebrews seems a little philosophical. There is a stream of Hebrew scholarship that suggests that the author of Hebrews may have imbibed just a little bit of Middle Platonism, which, of course, again, we have to be careful not to speculate too much, but Apollos was from Alexandria. And who was at Alexandria? Philo was at Alexandria. And what was there a long tradition of at Alexandria? Middle Platonism. And we know for sure that it was part of the Jewish community there. None of that proves anything. There's a little bit of a drip, drip, drip in Hebrews, but that's not important right now. God wanted to show, but this is a kind of it has a Platonic feel, this word, the unchangeableness. Doesn't have to be Platonic, doesn't have to. God wanting to show to the heirs of the promise the unchangeableness. These are a few of unchangeable things. He wanted to show that. The unchangeableness, tes boules autou, the unchangeableness of the will of him. How did he do that? He did it by emesitousen, by mediating. He mediated, he interposed. So this is mesituo, which is a word to put in the middle. Mesothelium, meso means middle. It has an augment on the front. We have a sigma. Nu with an epsilon in front of it is almost always a movable nu. Well, not always, but it's often a movable nu. Throw it away, it's meaningless, just for sound. Epsilon, third person singular, past tense ending. Sigma epsilon, aorist, past tense. So we have here, and the augment confirms aorist. So we have an aorist, active, indicative, third singular from mesituo. So God, wanting to show to the heirs of the promise the unchangeableness of his will, because and so that feels like a causal participle. God, because he wanted to show, he mediated with an oath, orko, with a killer whale, no, with an oath, by means of an oath, dative of means. Very interesting. In Hebrews' way of thinking, an oath is apparently okay. In Matthew 5, Jesus says, don't swear. So we have some interesting perspectives here, both of which I believe can be fit together. But let's just say that in Hebrews' culture, oaths aren't as bad as they are in Matthew's culture, it would seem. But he mediated with an oath in order that, subjunctive is coming, subjunctive is coming. I know that a subjunctive is coming, if hinna. It was the subjunctive heard around the world. It'll take a while for us to get there, by the way. Let's go ahead and read some words. He intervened with an oath, hinna dia duo pragmaton ametatheton en hois adunaton susasthai ton theon iskuran paraklesin ekomen. There it is. There's the subjunctive. It took us a while to get there, but I knew the subjunctive was coming. In order that we might have. This is a present active subjunctive, first plural from echo. In order that we might have. Why did he do it? Why did God interpose an oath? In order that we might have an iskuran paraklesin. In order that we might have a strong encouragement. That's why he did. And then, so we have some conditions or circumstances of that strong encouragement. What are they? In order that through two things unchangeable, through two unchangeable things, a few of my unchangeable things, in which adunaton susasthai, it is impossible for God to lie. The two unchangeable things are the oath, I think, and the unchangeable, the trustworthiness of God. So between those two things, we have a strong encouragement. So this is genitive plural, probably neuter. I think ametatheton is probably a neuter word. The unchangeableness. It is an adjective actually. So in this case, it's being used substantively. The unchangeable thing. He showed the unchangeable quality of him, of his will, in which there's another ending without a word with a rough breathing mark. It is dative plural, and it is a relative pronoun. In which impossible, adunaton, for God to lie. It would go against his character to lie. He just doesn't do it. Sigma alpha, this is aorist. Stha has me thinking middle or passive, but this is from pseudo my. Oh my, it's deponent. So it looks middle or passive, but it's actually translated actively. 6 of the 7 infinitives end in I. So I have aorist, middle deponent, infinitive from pseudomai. In order that through two unchangeable things, dynamic duo, through two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie. The subject, quote unquote, of an infinitive goes in the accusative case. In order that we might have strong encouragement in that it's impossible for God to lie. Through these two unchangeable things, we might have a strong encouragement. And who are we? We are hoi katafugontes. We are the ones who have fled. We, the ones who have fled, to take hold of the hope that lies ahead. Kratesai tes prokemenes elpidos. So the ones who have fled. S is a nominative masculine plural ending or a nominative plural ending in the third declension. The article never lies, nominative masculine plural in this case. My aunt is an active participle. Now, there is nothing we see done to the stem, but again, of all the things that we've crammed into our heads, the present of fugo, it has an epsilon. So if this were a present participle, it would be kata fugantes with an epsilon upsilon in there. But with the epsilon gone, I know it's aorist. So this is an aorist active participle, nominative masculine plural from kata fugo. So my first translation would be having fled, aorist active participle. With the article on it, then for step 2, I'm going to use Ken's rule. If it has the article, use who or that. So the ones who having fled. Ones comes from the fact that I've got to come up with a noun. It's being used adjectively because it has the article, and it's being used substantively because the noun's not there. So perhaps I should have put ones in brackets. I'm not going to. But so we, the ones having fled, might have hope, might have a strong encouragement, I mean. So bring it on down, we might say we, the ones who have fled. That would be a full-blown, I'm making an NIV translation. So that we might have strong encouragement, we, the ones who have fled, to take hold of the coming hope. Sigma alpha has me thinking aorist. 6 of the 7 infinitives are I. Aorist, active infinitive. I think this is krateo, to take hold. Notice that in both English and Greek, we think of taking hold of something. It wouldn't have to be that way. The language could have developed to where we just say, I take hold phone, and that would be good English. But it hasn't turned out that way. This is perhaps a good old Indo-European artifact here. It was true in Greek and it's true in English that we think of taking hold of something. And so this is genitive, tes prokemenes. This men are passive participles or middlemen. So this is a participle, but it's prokemai, to lie before. Kemai means to lie, and then pro means before. This doesn't always work, etymological fallacy, but it does illustrate in this case of the hope that's lying ahead, which is a metaphor anyway, right? So this is a present middle deponent participle from prokemai, genitive feminine singular. We might have strong encouragement. We, the ones who have fled, to take hold of the hope lying ahead, which, again, ending without a word, relative pronoun, which hos anchoron ekomen. Ankara, Anchorage, Alaska? Yeah, of course, but Ankara, what does it sound like? Anchor. That's a loan word from Greek. We have an anchor that keeps the soul, that keeps taste psukes, asphale kai bebayan, as the ages roll. Anyway, old hymn that comes from this. Hos anchoron ekomen, as an anchor. Hope that we have as an anchor. An anchor taste psukes, an anchor of the soul. Asphale, te, asphale kai, te, ... kai, ... both and. This is a procrastinator, never comes where it's supposed to. We might have an anchor of the soul, both asphalt, both secure, kai bebayan, and firm. And ace erkumenein, ace to esoteron to katapetasmatas. Okay, so that we might have an anchor, we might have strong encouragement, the ones who have fled, to take hold of the hope lying ahead, that as an anchor, we have an anchor of the soul, both steadfast and sure, and ace erkamenein, and entering. So men are passive participles, a lot of participles in these verses today. Men are middle or passive, middlemen, but it's ace erkomai. Oh my, it's deponent. So a lot of deponent participles in this these verses today. So this is a present stem, nothing done to it. Present middle deponent participle, accusative feminine singular. Entering will work fine here. And entering into the inside, ace to esoteron. I'm thinking that ER is a comparative here. I'm not quite sure how that works, but the inner. I mean, even in English, inner. Never thought about that. Is there an ER comparative going on here? You have in and then you have inner. I wonder if that's a thing. That could be a thing. You have the in and then you have the inner, more in. Somebody do some research on that. So into the inside of the veil, kata petasmatos. So arkonantos antianto. So that's genitive feminine singular. Genitive masculine. Genitive neuter singular. It is a neuter because it's a ma noun. And the ma nouns, unlike my ma, are all neuter. Okay, well, whoo, that was a harder work. Maybe I wouldn't have done that if I knew it would be that much work. But let's read it all through. In which, exceedingly God wanting to show to the heirs of the promise the unchangeableness of his will, he interposed with an oath, in order that through two unchangeable things, in that it is impossible for God to lie, we might have a strong encouragement. We, the ones who have fled, to take hold of the coming hope, the hope that lies ahead, that we have as an anchor of the soul, both secure and steadfast, and entering into the inside of the veil. Well, this has been the Greek of the Week. Hope you have a great week.